Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel, We're the Movie Couple. I'm Wendy.
I'm Dustin.
And this is our non-spoiler review for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Still reeling from the loss of Gamora, Peter Quill must rally his team to defend the universe and protect one of their own. If the mission is not completely successful, it could possibly lead to the end of the Guardians as we know them. So the anticipation for this movie was pretty high.
Yeah.
Ever since last year's Comic-Con, when the cast was on stage and they were all getting emotional from seeing the footage, and then kind of the same thing again at D23, but not as, because at D23 we didn't even get like whatever footage that y'all saw in Hall H.
Well, and also in Hall H they brought out the High Inquisitor in his full
the High
costume.
Revolutionary.
Evolutionary. Would I say High Inquisitor? Wow, that's way off. But High Evolutionary.
Yes. So I feel like with the trailer, with what the cast have been saying about this, knowing that this is the chapter is closing on essentially like the James Gunn, I guess, saga of the Guardians of the Galaxy, I was like, what's gonna happen? So what was your anticipation going into this?
It was pretty high, yeah, because that there was this huge build up. We had all of this emotional reaction from the cast, and the fact, since they were saying, oh, this is going to be the end of this saga, it really started to make you go, oh, does that mean someone's going to die? What's going to happen? Are they going to change some things up? Is this going to go? Are they changing this around? And then it just made fan theories go wild. Mm-hmm. So it really did just pump up the excitement to 11, or pump it up to Volume 3.
So I feel like with this movie, obviously, when you watch the movie, the stakes are high. It is the highest in this one, and there's a lot of history now that we know with the Guardians, how they got together, what they've been doing, and their relationship and friendship with each other have grown. And obviously following the events of Infinity War and Endgame, Gamora is like, spoiler alert, Gamora is back, but not really, because it's not the same Gamora. So Peter is trying to still come to terms with that, amongst other things that I don't want to say too much because this is meant to be a non-spoiler review. I will also say that this movie is quite focused on Rocket,
yes.
Which I think you can tell from the trailer.
You can definitely tell that from the trailers. And also, something else that we do highly recommend is first watch the holiday special of the Guardians of the Galaxy. There are a lot of things that I think if you did not see the holiday special, you'd be going like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, when did that happen? Why are they acting so casual about it? So if you plan to see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and you have not watched the holiday special, go watch the holiday special. It's going to make the beginning jumping into this a lot smoother.
I'll say this. I was going to talk about how this movie ranked in Phase 5, but I realized Phase 5 has literally just started, so we only have Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So I was like, okay, maybe I can't use that. But I will say, as I was watching everything unfold in this movie, without, again, going into spoiler territory, there was a couple of action scenes that, as I was watching it, it gave me the feels. This movie will give you the feels, and we will get into that in just a second. But I haven't felt this way about a Marvel film since the Avengers, Infinity War Endgame. And I got that feeling all over again, and I was like, oh my god, it feels so good to be back. Try not to compare the two, because that's many, many years of, that build up versus this has the 3, but it gave me that fuzzy feeling of oh my gosh, I'm watching a freaking comic book movie, and it's so good in the way that they play with action, story, and etc.
And honestly, that is something I really do want to mention, is that the action scenes in this film are top notch. There's this one kind of hallway scene that happens.
In a way.
And I have to admit, I was like, whoa, this is so cool. And they made it look like it was all in one shot.
It was giving the first Avengers.
Yes.
When they got together, I'm bringing the party to you.
Exactly.
That scene.
But honestly, this whole movie had incredible pacing from beginning to end. It starts off with a punch, and it just keeps a punch to the gut. Then you keep going. Then there's some action. Then some fighting, and then now you're on this mission, and you're constantly moving forward. There's maybe a small point where kind of slows down.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's some witty banter. Then there's this. Then there's another emergency. And it just keeps on going.
Yes.
And that 2.5 hours for this movie went by pretty quickly. I have to admit, though, I made the bad mistake of drinking a lot.
Oh, no.
So the last 45 minutes, I was in a little bit of pain. But I'm sitting there going, oh, this is really good. Oh, I'm not daring to get up. So I ended up having to go. I waited for the first post-credit scene.
Mid-credit.
Watched the mid-credit scene. I was like, okay, ran in, ran back. And I was like, there's still, so heads up, there are two end credit scenes. There's the mid-credit scene, and then there's one after everything has gone through.
But it's a Marvel film, you just might as well sit through just in case, because you never know. So the action is really, really great, and I think what I really liked about this one, because we've gotten to journey with these characters through 2.5 movies. I say 1.5 because I want to count like the holiday special as like half, because it's like only like I think a 1 hour thing. So yes, the stakes are higher. It has a slightly darker, more serious tone, and you'll see why when you get into the film. But the banter and the back and forth between, like the shenanigans, if you will,
a very
between
chaotic
the Guardians,
crew.
It's still there. Like at one point, they still find the time to like let them fight with each other in the way.
Let them fight.
Like how siblings and friends like calling each other like names and stuff like that. The back and forth, which I love so much. So all of that is in there, including the action. I do want to talk about the High Evolutionary because he is our big baddie in this one. So he is as menacing as they come, and I think the performance was really, really great. What I would have liked, I felt like we didn't get enough for him by the time we got to the third act. Like I would have liked some more time. I think we could have this was like 2.5 hour movie. We could have gotten like a couple more minutes with him to flush out his story and his arc a little bit better, in my opinion.
I do have to admit though, even with the short amount of time that we did have, I liked him, even though...
Yeah, he was good.
Don't get me wrong, you're right. He is kind of that, I have my evil purpose, and that's all. But it does come through with his arrogance. Mm-hmm. He is still an entertaining character. He doesn't come off as kind of like how Ronan came off, where he's... I don't know how exactly to say this, to where there was something still entertaining about him. There was still something that kind of drew you in, because maybe there is something that does kind of resonate with him, and something that we can kind of relate to with this character, but where we couldn't relate to others. I still enjoyed the character, even though, yes, I do have to agree. Looking back, I'm kind of like, yeah, I wish we would have had a little bit more development, a little bit more of less than just face
There's
value.
things like we're trying to really watch what we say. We're trying to do like mental gymnastics right now so we don't ruin things for you guys. But there could have been a little bit more with him, especially for the second half of the movie, in my opinion. And then I know you have some thoughts about Adam Warlock. This is our first time getting to finally see.
Yeah.
How many years has it been? When was the first time we got the hint that Adam
at the end of
the first Guardians, right?
No, second Guardians. It was after the second Guardians, to where you see them going, I call him Atom. But I have to admit, you could technically take Adam Warlock out of this movie. It would have made no difference whatsoever.
Ooh.
I personally think that he did not really add anything to this. I was really not that interested in his character, especially how much they have changed him from the comic books. It is a vast, even though I don't know, I'm not a big fan of Adam Warlock from the comics, but still, I know there's a huge difference between the comic and the movie. So I honestly, I could take or leave him. Maybe they'll do something more with him later on down the line, or maybe, I don't know. I was kind of lukewarm to Adam Warlock.
Oh, okay. Well, now that you've explained
seem different.
it, yeah, because I have no knowledge of the source material going into this. I was just going to take it for whatever they gave me, and I enjoy Will Poulter as an actor, so I thought he did really, really great. At one point, I kind of did feel, I was like, is Adam like this in the comics? But, like, I'm not going to ask anybody like that in the middle of the movie. Like, I was going to watch it for, just to go along for the ride. So I enjoyed Adam. He is in. He is quite the not the nemesis. What's the word I'm looking for? He is quite the obstacle for the Guardians. So I didn't, even to the extent of his power, I wasn't super sure. So to watch it play out on screen, I thought it was really, really interesting, and I kind of enjoyed their version of Adam, but again, that is without, compared to somebody who has been reading like comics with Adam Warlock in it for years, and like if like this MCU went it with a different direction, I can see how that would give you kind of the way you are feeling about it. So that could be it. So I'm curious to you guys' thoughts once you see the movie and kind of come back and let us know your thoughts on Adam. But I enjoyed it because he's so powerful. And I was like, oh my gosh. So, and I kind of feel like in a way he fell under almost the same category as how I feel about the High Evolutionary, where I feel like we could have just spent a little bit more time to give I don't really need like a whole backstory or whatever, because there was a lot of things going on in this movie. Like not just like one person's story, but like several people's story, the Guardians and etc. But like I feel like they could have given him just a little bit more with. I'm gonna have to watch our spoiler review because I'm afraid to go into it. I don't think it's a spoiler, but I'm afraid if I do go into it, somebody's gonna say, "Oh, it's a spoiler," so I just rather avoid.
So with that being said, all of our thoughts combined, Wendy, what would you give this rate? What would you give Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? What is your rating?
I gotta give this. Look, I had so much fun watching this movie, and like expectations were high, right, going into this because the way it's been marketed, the way the cast talks about it. I'm like, oh, this is going to be like the best Guardians, right? And in my opinion, it is my favorite Guardians out of the three. It gave me all the feels of when I watched like the ensemble like Avenger films, and I love that I got that feeling back in this movie. This movie is going to play with your emotions. You're going to be crying, and then when you're not even done crying yet, you're going to start busting up laughing because it's the Guardians being Guardians. And it's so great. So overall, very, very entertaining. I'm gonna go ahead and give this movie a catch it opening night.
And I'm right there with you. I enjoyed a lot of this. The action was great. The pacing just kept going all the way through. There was tear jerks. There was laughs. There's parts where you're just going, yeah. I have to agree with you as well. Out of the three Guardians of the Galaxy, I really do think that this is the best one. It is the strongest. It shows them the best as a team. Their banter's the best. And the action is overall just the best out of all three of them. I do find that some of the storyline and some of the characters were a little bit weaker than I would have liked, but they were also side characters, and none of the Guardians had any weak moments. So I'm going to give it a check it out.
There you go, you guys. Those are our thoughts, non-spoiler thoughts, for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Look forward to our spoiler review coming to Patreon once the movie comes out. We'll definitely have to do a deep dive. Not a deep dive, but go all spoilers on that one. But we can only put those up when the movie comes out. So come on back when that comes up if you're a Patreon supporter. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you in the next one.